What's going on, everybody? It's Pop Culture Plug, and today we're back with some sports content this time. What we're going to be doing is taking every NBA player of all time that's ever existed, dead, alive, current, former, and whittling that down to a 13-man roster with a head coach and an assistant. This is not about the best 13 players of all time, but building a cohesive roster that could compete at the highest level. So now that we know what's going on, we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to go 1 through 5, and then my last three guys, and then the coaches. So, coming in, my starting point guard, give me Steph Curry, the Splash Brother himself. Steph Curry and Magic Johnson have elevated themselves above everyone else at their position. And while Magic is a more traditional point guard that distributes and gets teammates more involved, Steph is the godfather of modern basketball, in my estimation, and changed the game. The best deep ball shooter of all time. You have to pick him up before half court. The gravity, the spacing that he creates. And not only can he create on ball, but he does not have to have the ball in his hands to be effective either. He can run around and come off picks and screens like Rip Hamilton or Ray Allen or Reggie Miller, someone like that. So to construct a roster, I would like a versatile piece like that. I also think that he's a good guy too and a good teammate, a good character guy that would be good in the locker room. So moving straight forward to our two guard, you know we're going to take the GOAT, man, Michael Jordan. And where I do love Steph as a player, where he does lack is in overall athleticism and defense, and that is absolutely no problem with our boy Mike. Having Mike in the fray gives us the ability to maybe hide Steph a little better. Say Michael had a more favorable matchup at the shooting guard that Steph could take, they could swap out, and I think that they make up where the other one lacks. And Mike is going to be probably one of our primary ball handlers, so Steph can run around the perimeter, do his thing. But I had to take the GOAT, man. Now, moving straight forward, pun intended, we're going to go with a guy who is a lot of other people's GOAT as well. Not mine, but that's a story for another time. But let me get LeBron James, man. Let's get the king up on this squad. I am not here to compare him to anybody else. This is not what this video is about. It's about constructing a perfect roster. And to do that, I think you need the most complete basketball player of all time. He is a Swiss Army knife that can pass, shoot, rebound, defend at a tenacious level. One of the most athletic freaks of nature that we've ever seen. If I need him to come down and play point guard, he can play point guard. He can play the 3. He can even step in and play the 4 if we need that. He can guard 1 through 4. So I have to have him. And him and Michael getting out on the fast break, Steph running around with the IQ that they all have, we're looking really good so far. Now, these first 3 guys for me were pretty much no-brainers. When we got to our power forward spot for our starting lineup, this is where I began to have to really put some thought into it as to how I wanted to construct this roster. If we're taking a modern approach to team building in basketball, we're going to need a little more spacing and a little more shooting. Your traditional power forwards had a mid-range game, but couldn't really step out to the 3 as much outside of someone like Dirk Nowitzki, but Dirk does not bring the level of shooting or athleticism that I would want on an all-time roster. Love Dirk, but not here. In this space, I'm actually going to go with Kevin Durant. He has the length, to play at the 4. If the matchup is a little too tough, perhaps him and LeBron could swap out on defense. You bump him down to the 3, bump LeBron up to the 4. He can handle the ball. He can score on every level, shoot the lights out, get out on the break. Give me Kevin Durant. So we have our spacing. We have our primary ball handler. We have distribution. We have shooting. We need a defensive anchor at the center. And the guy that I came across, while there are a lot of great centers, one of the most versatile pieces ever at that position is Hakeem Olajuwon, and that's who I'm going to go with at my 5. Hakeem has proven himself to be able to not only score at a high clip, but is also probably the best defensive player that we've ever seen, has some of the best footwork in the paint that we've ever seen. Players to this day paid to go to a camp where he teaches his footwork and techniques. He could step out to the mid-range, athletic enough to run with those horses that we got out there. And I just, while there are plenty other big men, I think that he fits this roster and this starting five the best, so that's why we went with him. So to briefly recap our starting five: at the 1, Steph Curry. Then we have Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and we round that out with Hakeem Olajuwon. Let me know what you guys think about that. Moving forward to our bench, at point guard, I gotta go Magic Johnson. I did not think he fit as well with those pieces. Him and Michael Jordan on the floor, neither one of them being three-point shooters. I wanted Steph for the threes, but you'll see how I built this second unit around what Magic's more skilled at. And Magic at 6'9" causes a lot of matchup problems as well. Can get out on the break, one of the best ever out on the break. In my opinion, the best passer of all time. Maybe not the most athletic, but just the most clever that you've ever seen. Great locker room guy too, from what I can tell from the outside. Seemed to be a good teammate, pleasant to be around. Had to go with Magic. Now, moving straight to our number 2 spot, we are going to stay in LA and go with Kobe Bean Bryant. Rest in peace to the Mamba, man. Now, Kobe is the only person that I'm going to name a specific version of for this piece, because while the young Afro Kobe that played with Shaq and won 3 rings was very talented, he could be a bit of a problem as far as ego and throwing temper tantrums, and I think he would want to compete with these guys instead of be a part of a team and a unit. The older Kobe, once he got with Pau Gasol and won those next 2 rings, is the Kobe that I would want for this team. Great defender as well, another clutch guy as well, and by the time he got with Pau Gasol, he had matured, he had learned to rely on teammates a bit more, so give me Kobe Bryant at the 2, man. Now, moving forward to our number 3 man off the bench, give me Larry Bird. Larry Bird is the only player in NBA history to win 3 straight MVPs in an era where he played with Magic Johnson, who is a consensus top 5 or 6 player of all time. So that speaks volumes. A underrated defender, great rebounder, great passer, great shooter. Similar to a LeBron James as a Swiss Army knife type of player, obviously does not have the athleticism of a LeBron. But when we talk about checking the most boxes of all time, Larry Bird is in that conversation. Him and Magic on the floor at the same time is going to be an absolute shit show with the passing. So give me my boy Larry Bird, man, the white goat. Now, for our forward position off of the bench, I want to take more of a traditional power forward, being that we have Kevin Durant at the 4 in our starting lineup. I want somebody that maybe is a little taller, can defend the paint at a higher clip, can rebound at a higher clip, and maybe just a little more physically imposing if we have to swap out on defense or whatever. I'm not going to take the guy that I think a lot of you think I should take here. I'm going to take Kevin Garnett. Now, I think a lot of you might put Tim Duncan in this slot, and while Tim Duncan is great, I think Kevin Garnett does everything as good or better than Tim Duncan outside of winning, but Tim Duncan had a much better system and much better teammates for the bulk of his career. If you swap them out, I'd like to see how that goes. Kevin Garnett is a better ball handler, he's more athletic, their scoring is about the same, defense is about the same. I would just like to see him, imagine him on the break with Magic Johnson and Kobe and Bird, all the passing. He's a defensive anchor. He can swap out. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of KG. I think he has become underrated in a lot of the talks that we have these days. But, yeah, Garnett, man, solid pick. Now, as we move on to our 5 slot for this second unit, I really had to think about it because we have a defensive anchor on this unit with Garnett. We have a defensive anchor in the first unit as a big with Hakeem Olajuwon. What we do not have is a big that can play make really and stretch the floor with threes. So, controversial as it may be with a lot of big names at center still out there, give me Nikola Jokic at the 5 for our bench. Not the best defender in the world, but I think a capable defender. We have Garnett in the lineup with him, so if they need to swap out assignments, they can do that. If he's getting bullied for some reason, you can bring in Hakeem. But the playmaking and the rebounding and the scoring are God level with this guy. He's also not a selfish player at all. He's actually the antithesis of that. He's always going to make the right play, and he does not have to be selfish with the scoring on a lineup where you have a Kobe Bryant and a Larry Bird. Imagine the passing with him, Larry, and Magic. The IQ is off the charts. So to recap our second unit, we have Magic, Kobe, Larry Bird, Kevin Garnett, and to round it out, Nikola Jokic. Now, let's get to our last three players. I think it would be blasphemous to have an all-time team, an all-time NBA roster that did not have a peak Shaquille O'Neal on it. So we're gonna go Big Diesel on here. I did not like him for modern basketball with some of the pick and roll action and being out on the perimeter. I didn't know how well that would work. But I mean, who's gonna guard him on the other end of the floor? One of the most dominant players of all time, one of the most intimidating basketball players of all time, alongside Mike and Steph. I think you could argue they, while for very different reasons, might be the three most intimidating players of all time. I had to throw Big Diesel in here. Now, thinking about what we need for the rest of this roster with our last two picks, our only glaring deficiency I see is we have a lack of athleticism and defense at our point guard spot with Magic and Steph. So I might be cheating a bit by putting Dwayne Wade in this slot because he was always a 2. But I feel like for defending a 1 and getting out on the break, he could do that and not have to be a primary ball handler with players like Jokic and Bird and LeBron and Magic on the team. He could just fill a role and be a bigger body to defend better ones if we needed him, say if Steph was getting cooked or Magic was getting cooked. He's a much better defender than them, much more athletic than them, and has proven that he does not have to be a primary ball handler with his history with LeBron James. Now, for this last roster spot, we don't really have any glaring deficiencies. There's some really big names out there like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell that I have not selected and will not select on here. While I think they are outstanding players and would be higher than some of the players I have on the team in the all-time ranking, I just don't particularly need them. So who would I want to fill this last slot with? And the person that I came to wanting to choose was Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi can guard 1 through 4, can score, high IQ, very versatile piece that you can move around the chessboard. And I just think he fills out our team in the perfect way. We don't really need another big. He's more athletic than like a Larry Bird, so if we needed a more athletic lineup, we could slip him in there, can shoot, So yeah, that's my roster. As far as the head coach is concerned, I'm gonna go with Phil Jackson, man. 11 rings. Was a player himself, the ultimate manager of superstar personalities, having worked with the likes of Kobe, Shaq, Mike, Scotty, Dennis Rodman, and knew how to deal with all of them on an individual level and bring them together and get their best concerted efforts as a team, as a unit. Now, if Phil gets a little out there with the woo-woo shit and the open-toe sandals and the incense and all that, the triangle offense, then we're going to bring in a more players coach like Steve Kerr. Just kind of laid back, kind of chill, but proving himself. A player himself has won on the highest level as not only a player but a coach. Multiple rings in both positions. So, yeah, that's my unit, man. What do y'all think? Where did I mess up? What would you change? Do you like it? Do you think it's the way it needs to be? If you like this content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We are not just a sports channel. We do music, movies, TV, pop culture in general. Whatever you want, let me know, and we will talk about it and make a video about it. Until next time, peace.